So looking at the temperature converter program, there is one more thing at play here that I'd like to discuss. I'm going to run the program real quick, and I'm going to enter 32 degrees Fahrenheit, which we all know is 0 degrees Celsius, and it works. Looking at the calculation on line 4 here of the program, these parentheses are very strategically placed, and to prove a point, I'm going to delete them and run the program again. Okay, 32 degrees Fahrenheit, negative 15 degrees Celsius, that's inaccurate, as we know. So we need to talk about this. There's something at play here, and it's called the arithmetic order of operations. You've probably been exposed to this before in, grade school or high school or college algebra. This is a pretty common thing to have to contend with, and you have to, in a math class certainly, and also in programming and writing a program. You may have heard the phrase, "Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally," and that might ring a bell. So let's just take a look at this equation. This could be in a math class or a programming class. You might see this type of line. And what is the value of x after this is computed? Okay, some students might say, okay, well, they'll start at the left just the way we read x equals 2 plus 3. 2 plus 3 is 5 times 10 is 50. And they just take this left to right approach as if reading a sentence. But that's not the case here. X is 32. And the reason for that is we have two different types of operators here. We have a plus sign and a multiplication sign. And not all operators are created equal. Okay, so let's take a look at this. I like to think of the operators as being in a totem pole. And the highest men on the totem pole, so to speak, are parentheses and exponents, which we did not have in the previous equation. But if you have those take priority over all other operators. Next we have multiplication and division. Okay, they're second in line. And then lastly, at the bottom of the totem pole, the least important, or the lowest priority would be addition and subtraction. So that's where we get the phrase, "Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally." It's just a way of remembering the order of operations. So with that in mind, this equation that we were looking at on the previous slide, the multiplication is higher on the totem pole than the addition. So that must be computed first. So we have 3 times 10, which is 30 plus 2, and then x is 32. Okay, now what if we did this? This changes things. We've added parentheses into the mix. Those are the highest on the totem pole, and those get first priority. So with that in mind, 2 plus 3 is taken care of first, and we get 5 out of that, times 10 is 50. So that would result in the 50. Okay, looking at this. We don't have any parentheses, so we don't have to worry about those. Next in line would be exponents. Okay, so my first order of business is this 5 squared, which would give me 25. Okay, so the 25 is computed. Now next up we have the multiplication. We still have other operators. We have the addition and subtraction, but they're the low men on the totem pole, so we save those for last. So next up we have the multiplication, so we'll take care of that. So now we've got 25 minus 12, the 12 being the result of the 6 times 2. So now we're home free. We can take care of the other ones. And then, these two are on equal footing, the plus and the minus. They're neither has priority over the other. So at this point, you can just go left to right, like the way we read. So 2 plus 25 is 27, minus 12 would give us the 15. And you know what? Even if you did this one first, 25 minus 12 is 13, and then added the 2, you still get the 15. So it really doesn't matter when you get to that last step and everyone's on equal footing. Just go left to right. Okay, let's do one more. Parentheses first. Those are top priorities. So we do have a pair of parentheses here. So those are whatever's inside is going to be computed first. So we have 2 plus 5 is 7. Okay, that takes care of that. Now we also have an exponent. So we need to raise the 7 to a power of 2, which will give us 49. Okay, now that's in the bag. Next order of business is the multiplication. That would be the next guy in line as far as the hierarchy or the order of operations or precedence is concerned. So we have 12. Finally, 49 minus 12 will give us the 37. So this is something that you do have to contend with. Keep it in the back of your mind. And, especially if you write a program that has a calculation in it and you run that program and the result is really unexpected and seems inaccurate, go back to your code, go back to your calculation, and the first thing you should check is the arithmetic order of operations if it applies.